That of Chibok was in the night.
Yeah.
So, after morning assembly, they came, or while they were in morning assembly, they came, they invaded the place. Did they come with buses? Or they walked into the bush with the pupils?
I hear they came on motorcycles.
So how do you ferry 280 pupils or students on a motorcycle?
Which cannot be done in 30 minutes.
And then we can even see, according to reports, that place is the Kuriga to Kaduna is about 2 hours. Okay, the governor got there. It was still daylight when the governor got there. Before the governor got there, where were the security operatives? What happened? They had maybe about 2-3 hours ahead. Is it that the security operatives could not follow them into the bush or wherever they went? We had that some vigilante group followed them, and one of them was killed and all that. After that, what happened to the military team, the police team, and so on and so forth? These are questions we must begin to ask ourselves.
Essentially, considering that Kaduna had been a center, of late.
Exactly. It's even reported that there is a military outpost not far from where it's happened.
Yeah.
So all the two, they can't spend less than 30 minutes. Let's even be gracious or conservative that they must, because when these students saw them, they would run a scatter.
Yeah.
So before you could gather,
they would scatter in all directions.
Exactly. Before you can gather 280, somebody must be able to
That's it.
contact an emergency number or the local government chairman or whoever that these people have come again. As they say in the north, they say Ampara. They've started again. That's the Hausa word. Ampara. That means they've started again. So immediately you hear Ampara, that means trouble has come again. So somebody must have informed someone outside that vicinity. Then they should fear up the security. Up till now, has drones been deployed to look for wherever they are? Let us not start on this train again. The Chibok girls, how many of them are still with those people? We have started again. I hope that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will take this head on. It is enough to issue statement that government abhors this and we are on top of the matter, we will get down to it, that we never hear.
Inka, I think you are losing your cool. Let's speak.
No, I mean, my child could have, or my grandchild could have been one of these students.
It's all right. Just calm down. Tony, the man on the street would wonder about intelligence. This couldn't have happened without the intelligence not getting into the picture to preempt or to raise the alarm. So, sometimes, like a cynic, you get the impression these things are deliberate. I don't know.
Of course.
I don't know. I don't know.
Citizens, we had in this country Chibok and Dapchi kidnap.
Yeah.
Even when Buhari came to, when Buhari's regime, we had issues like this, where you go into a school,
Tony, 24 hours before yesterday's zone, they struck at...
Yeah, in Borno, IDP camp. See, these guys are not spirits. It's only the truth that can actually help the nation.
Yeah.
They are not spirits. This thing happened
at this stage.
8 a.m. in the morning after the assembly. And they just disappeared with over 200 students in this country. They disappeared.
And
something is not adding up.
Look at the danger here.
Or could it be there are only 2 students? 280. 200.
Not too far from military.
No, but Tony, mine is this. You are not dealing with elderly or, adolescent students. You are dealing with primary school pupils.
People, and then...
So over 280 of them.
See, it says something like this here before. In this same, pattern, You cannot evade a school, no matter where the school is located.
Yes.
Pack 100 students. I'm not talking about 200 students. Pack 100 students and walk into the forest and nobody sees you. Mind you, they are not, all of them are not on a motorbike. They are not driven. Some of them were trekking.
Yeah.
Because according to one eyewitness report, he said he escaped. In other words, you were trekking. How can you escape? And this is the same Kaduna that is more like a hotbed. And you have military formations almost everywhere there. How can we explain this? Something is not adding. I've said it before. Because it's happening over time, again and again. Secondly, we had the issues of Dapchi, as I said before, Chibok, Dapchi, and others that I cannot remember. What happens, because at the end of the day, just as we discussed earlier, it's all about the money. So when they release these children, what happened to these kidnappers?
Thereafter.
They let them go? Or are they captured? Because at the end of the day, we don't even know what happens. So if you don't punish these people, you cannot stop it. There must be punishment for this, and it has to be publicized. People need to know. If we don't do it that way, they will think we can do our own and go scot-free. Something has to happen. Because for me, something is wrong somewhere. It's not adding up for me. You can't take 200 children and disappear into thin air. It's not possible.
Inka, you know, at the Hangout here, what we do mainly is mold opinion, allow decision makers to act on them, on it. But look at this. The outside world will consider us, we become a laughing stock, and we need investors to come in. With this scenario, we are making a mess of things.
In fact, you see, the most intriguing aspect of it for me is that this happened in broad daylight. And there are no reports that they came with a bus in which they shepherded all these pupils. So how far is the bush where they, and these are kids. And kids are not easily controllable, especially when they are being controlled by people they don't know.
And
so
they
will run enter scatter.
And more than that, when they become alarmed.
Exactly. They knew that. So when you talk of investors, you travel to US, you travel to wherever to go and invite investors. These are things that they
and they tell you, but this story we are hearing.
Exactly. So these are things they look for. When you are going to a place, you first of all need to know how safe are you. If your citizens are being kidnapped
at will
by not one, not two, not three, students, pupils are being kidnapped 280 at once.
Okay.
And then what do you tell investor?
Sorry, okay.
Yeah, Tony.
So please, because you said bandits kidnap.
Yeah.
But we know this. As I said before, it's only the truth. When you say bandits, these are the same people. They know them.
You want me to spell
No, I'm just saying. These are people they know. They collect rent from these people.
Exactly.
They mingle with them. They live in it. So when they see them, they know them. Like according to one of the staff, that the moment they came into the school, they said the bandits are here. So they know them. They know their modus operandi. So who are these people? How come they keep housing them and wait for them to strike first? And then they make noise about it.
Well, the governor said...
The governor said they have spoken to the NSA. Everything is it goes beyond that.
Yeah, the governor has told all of us here, Yinka, that is in charge. And I wish the governor Godspeed, because not only are the parents alarmed, the country is...
Jesus Christ.
The world is. These are kids.
Is.
These are children. We call them leaders of tomorrow, our future hope. Any of us children could have been one of them.
All right, so let's go to our next story. Mr. President, you are watching us. We wish you Godspeed.
Amen, yeah.
Okay, let's go to our next story. You know, men, we are told, rule the world, but we are told by the same token, more so by sexists, that they are becoming, but women rule the men who rule the world. Now, sexists are becoming legion in our community. So women rule the men who rule the world. On the occasion of this year's International Women's Day, by the way, it's today, President Bola Tinubu has celebrated Nigerian women, telling them, as a pivot of the nation, you have more than, you have a lot to do. Now, the president affirmed that in every field of endeavor, the standout achievements of Nigerian women have become testaments to the resilience, strength, courage, and ingenuity of all women across the world. Need I say more, Tony?
Yeah. Happy Women's Day to our mothers,
Our
our
sisters, our cousins.
our aunties, our cousins, and our daughters. Without our women, we wouldn't be here. Yeah. Without our mothers, we won't be here. They gave birth to us, and we can't do it alone as men. So you can't say it's the man. I've heard a lot of people say it's the man's fault.
Our mothers depend on our fathers.
It's two-way. It's 50-50.
Okay, it is two-way.
Yes, we can't do it alone.
Okay.
So I said I appreciate them today. I appreciate their indomitable spirit. They've done a lot in the world. We have great women across the globe, from Nigeria, Africa, and the world. And I joined the president in praising them, and urging them to continue. The world recognizes them. I wish them the best, and I hope they recognize that. Our own is coming soon. Happy Men's Day, because this day we hear most about Happy Women's Day. It's like in a year we have it 6 times, and maybe once or
To boot,
one day.
to boot.
Once for men.
To boot. I think this Sunday is Mothering Sunday.
Another month. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
See, all about the women.
It's all about the women.
Well, Yinka, it's a woman's world. Oh, did you always say it's a man's world? But would it be anything without the woman?
Yeah.
It can be
We
anything.
want to really salute the women because they are the hands that rock the cradle, as they say. And honestly, when you look at the world now, you see that women are breaking a lot of barriers, especially in this part of the world.
They've broken the glass ceiling.
Yes, in this part of the world. Is there any profession now that you look at that you don't see women? And the other day, I think I read in a newspaper, and I saw it, I think it was an international medium that interviewed a Nigerian lady who drives truck, what we call trailer, from here to Sokoto, from everywhere across the country. So women are broken so much, the glass ceiling, as we say, and I join the world in saluting them because, in all honesty, when you look at, you ask yourself, what is it that a man will do now that a woman will not do? And as we were saying before we came into the studio, they hold a lot of power. I mean, what we call the pillow talk and all that and so on and so forth. There are so many things that happen in the world.
Yinka, a lot of our women who are wives to governors and the first lady can help this country.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot they can.
They have, in fact, you see, there is a lot that they can do because they, by their office and by their experience, they know what it means to be a woman and what it costs to put food on the table. So they should be able to help their husband by not glamorizing the office of the first lady, because there is a difference between glamorizing the office and all that, but trying to do a real service to show people that, look, when I'm there, I will make a difference. And that is most important because, look, there's no man in the world, no matter how hard your heart is, that a woman will not have a control over. There was this joke some time ago I want all men who are
Controlled.
controlled by their women
No, I want all men who control their wives to
stand up. Almost everybody stood up. One man didn't stand up. And the man called him, why are you sitting down? He said, I was told to sit down
by my wife. And Tony, there's this other story. Robbers stopped a night bus in Inca, and they said, all men this way, all women this way.
Okay.
The women went this way, and a man joined them. And one of the robbers went to him. Why are you joining? He said, who be me when big boys are around, with big boys like you? So some of us are just men in name.
A name.
Tony, but on account of International Women's Day, I cannot forget the saying of the late Baroness Thatcher. She said, Inka, you will hear this too. If you want anything said, ask a man. But if you want anything done, ask a woman.
Yes. Yeah.
True.
Thatcher is the woman that has brought the premiership in England to us.
Where it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had women in this country who have done astonishingly well.
Yeah.
We have Dora Akunyili. May her soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
When she handled NAFDAC.
Yeah.
Since she left NAFDAC, I don't think maybe somebody has matched it. So
This is not passing any moral.
no. But we have to appreciate that when you do something good. We have this Mohammed, a Nigerian woman, deputy, I think deputy secretary of Aminat Mohammed, deputy secretary general of United. I was coming there. Then Okonjo Iweala, WTO. We have them in Nigeria. We have them heading banks, insurance companies, and corporate. They're controlling the corporate world. These days, you can't do it all alone as a man. Gone are the days when you will say comfortably, let my wife be home, I'll do the work. When I come back, just take care of the home. They are doing well, and most times they're even ahead of us.
Yeah.
Doing fantastically well.
And if,
so
if your wife does not want you to sleep a wink, Inka,
they know how to do it.
Just to get something done. You know, go close your eyes.
Of course. It's your wife. We're talking about your wife. So she knows your soft spot. So and she knows how to go around it. They are doing well. Now the world has changed. In the world today, majority of them are leading the pack, and they are doing astoundingly. We are doing well. Even in Nigeria, Africa, and the world.
Inka and the late American First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yes.
The wife of Franklin Delano, she said, nobody can make you feel inferior without your permission.
Of course.
Yeah.
It is true. It is only when you allow someone to demean you that you are demeaned.
Yeah.
If you are really sure of yourself, you can't be demeaned. I mean, we've seen women, in fact, do you notice that in the last how many years, when you check the WAEC results, you check JAMB results, and so on and so forth. Even in university, the performance, I teach in a private university, and I know. Women.
Is a woman.
Yes. So then you ask yourself, why is it that why is it that we put them behind and allow the men to continue to mess us up or make things look mediocre? So we need to do, for those who think that men are better or whatever, we need to rethink, we need to rejig our mindset. Because in all honesty, women have shown the world that, look, in those days, you used to call us weaker sex, but now we are not. And whatever you think you can do, we will do it. Even in military, they've broken barriers. There are women generals now, there are women commanding. So what else are we looking for?
Tony, and in the Holy Book,
Yes.
many women had been the death and the downfall of many a great man. Remember your Samson, your Ahab, you
can
name
see,
them. So women are powerful.
They've been powerful all this while.
Yeah.
You know, they fought to be recognized.
Yeah.
Initially, the men were controlling, but they fought their way through.
Yeah.
So we're here. We can do what.
So
that's why you say what a man can do, a woman can do
Can
better.
we reiterate the call on all Nigerian first ladies? Because this is the time we need them.
Yeah, our first ladies are doing
A great job.
they are projecting.
We expect them
We
to
want
do
them to
a
do
greater,
more.
because they can.
Because they have of a great influence on their husbands.
Yeah.
We've not, like this present administration, you've not actually seen most of these first ladies, so we can't rate them yet, except for the first lady of the federation, who is doing perfectly well. You know, she's been networking and going around.
Yeah.
I think she knows how to. She's been first lady of Lagos.
I'm told by a
She's doing
cynic
well.
now. I'm told by a cynic that women had been ruling since Adam was there.
They rule. Citizens, women, they rule all the time, even amongst us here. You know, so we are sitting down here, but you know, when we go in there, we know how.
What more can I say? It is said, gentlemen, that behind a man there's a woman.
Of course.
But do you know, behind that woman is a surprised mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also play their role.
Yeah. Okay, so happy Women's Day to you. And we now go on a commercial break. We should be back. Please stay with us.
Imagine a world where this day is just another day.
Where celebrations of progress aren't confined into a single date.
No need to demonstrate our strength or skill.
For equality will be the air we breathe and the ground we tread.
Gone will be the need to recount victories, as every triumph becomes a stepping stone and not a wonder.
No more rallying cries for change, for justice will be the anthem of our daily lives.
This day will fade into the core of our existence, for every moment will be a testament to our unity and resilience. Happy International Women's Day from TVC Communications.
Okay, then, let's go to our next story. You know, the consensus of opinion in the land is that the minimum wage should be a living wage and it should take the worker home. Organized labor is in a tango with the federal government over the minimum wage wahala. Fact is, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, is demanding 794,000 naira as the new minimum wage, whereas the NLC believes that the minimum wage must have to be set at a level that's fair and commensurate with economic realities. The Trade Union Congress, TUC, states that the insistence on a 479,000 naira monthly wage is to give the workers a minimum level of comfort based on the economic realities. Are we able to meet somewhere in the middle, Yinka?
Well, I think gradually the labor union, whether it is NLC or TUC, they are gradually coming to the real world. No, they are no longer living in the cuckoo world where they were demanding for a million naira. We said this some time ago. I'm still very worried that in Nigeria, when we talk of farewell or for workers and so on, every attention is always on salary, 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 salary. I don't think we should be talking about salary as much. And the reason is this. if you give 500 naira minimum wage, what are you going to buy with the minimum wage? And what are you going to buy with the 500 naira? Are we walking towards a situation where you will need a wheelbarrow to carry your naira notes to the market and then look for a leather bag to carry the proceeds?
Where the trader will take exact his pound of flesh?
Exactly. So, I mean, what we should be talking about, every problem is not money that will solve every problem. Ideas solve problems and not money. In this same country, I started work as a clerical officer in the federal ministry with 1,500 naira per annum. 1,500 naira per annum.
And he took you home?
It took, of course. That was what I had to work for 4 years before I could proceed to the university, and that was what I spent to train myself in the university. 4 years, 1,500. When I tell my children nowadays that my salary was about 200 naira of that, they look at me and say, hey, Daddy, are you serious? So, what has happened between then and now? Why is it that we have quantum amount of money and little of what to take? So what we should be looking at is, why is it that we are having so much problem in our system? Yes, I know some people will argue with me that the oil price was not the same as of that time and now and all those arguments. Yes, I agree. But in the same country, go to the first time I traveled to the United States, I think was 2003. The price of bread was less than $1. Some 10 years or thereabout when I went back, the price of bread was almost the same. But not so in Nigeria. So what is the problem?
When I got told that a loaf,
yes,
bread, a standard loaf,
yes,
is going for 1,520. I don't know if...
Exactly, yes. Now,
2,000 now.
So a year's salary is what I used to earn in a year is what I will use to buy a loaf of bread now. Why? So the labor and the government must sit down. It is not every problem that you throw money into. Because as it is now, with the withdrawal of the petroleum subsidy, prices of things have gone up. If today, government says, okay, the minimum wage is now 50,000 naira, prices will go up again. So, give and take.
In Nigeria, when things go up, they
don't come down. Because the price went up in the first place because of the withdrawal of subsidy. The price will go up again. Immediately they hear that there have been salary increment. So both ways, we are all the loser. What we should be thinking about is, okay, what are other countries doing that we are not doing? Why is it that every time, okay, I came from Ogba to this place for this program. Why should I drive? Why should there not be public transport or train or whatever, light train or whatever?
Rely on.
I mean, that we can rely on. Why must you want to move from one point to another? You have to put your car on the road. You have to do... So there must be a way. It is never too late. Because when you talk, they will say that, no, it's too late. The red line, the blue line that Lagos is constructing, if it were to have been constructed in 1984 or then, but the state didn't wait that because they didn't construct it that time, they would...
If we had not messed with it between then and now.
Yeah.
But it is here.
It is here. I mean, the Yoruba will say, Igbara Lambura, that it is when you get to a point that you do what you need to do. So we cannot sit down and be saying that, oh, okay, because we didn't do it then, it will cost $1 billion of naira to do it again. If you don't do it 1 billion this year, it will cost you 10 billion perhaps next year. So the best thing is the labor and the government must think, what do we do? Today, what consumes the greatest part of a worker's salary?
Transportation.
Transportation and feeding.
Yeah.
I mean, In those days, people like us decided to live far away from the city because rent was cheap.
Yeah.
And you can get, but now, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
As a matter of fact, I think Tony is tempted to say you are old school. Tony, you know, I don't know if you like this parallel. Israel is a desert country.
Amen.
But Israel produces the fruit it requires all year round.
And export.
Yeah, and exports. So I will say, but we are supposed to be in peacetime. We are not a desert country. We have the land, arable land. We discussed this yesterday.
It's all about,
So it is the choices, the horrible choices we are making.
It's all borders and leadership. It's all borders and leadership, you know. I want to go on that Labour place. The Labour is requesting for 450 to 500 and, you know, above 500,000 as minimum wage. It's not a bad idea in view of the harsh economic reality we all are currently facing. But I would have preferred a situation where Labour will negotiate for a realistic pay increase.
The key word here is realistic.
Realistic pay, because it's like a joke, you know. It's like they're taking this. When I read this, it's like what I take out of it is, you know, I look at them like jokers.
Yeah.
Some state governors cannot afford to even pay 30,000 minimum wage. For how many years now?
Yeah.
They see, they have backlogs of salaries unpaid. Then you're telling them to pay 450 to 500 and something thousand. It's not realistic. I know we should be able to pay that in view of what's going on.
797.
Yes, NLT is proposing
497.
which from even 4. I would have expected maybe between 100 and 200,000. Then you can take it. Because you know, they won't pay. They cannot pay 30,000. So when you do this, you appear to them like a joker.
In all of this, you're looking at the bystander, the man at the bus stop. The man at the bus stop, Inka, you understand this, reminds himself always that members of the National Assembly can afford 160 million naira vehicle.
I get it.
And for all, how many of them?
Yes.
460?
460,
460.
390, 120, 190 or so.
Yeah, 190.
Close to 400, all of them, all the legislators,
Yeah.
close to 400.
So,
but yes.
So how do you tell that man at the bus stop
I understand. They should even pay them 500,000 because even that 200 I'm proposing cannot even buy anything. You go to the supermarket with 100,000. You're going to come out with the trolley. You not get to the
money there.
The value of our currency. You know what's going on. I don't want to flog it. What I'm saying is this: if you're going to a negotiating table and you want government, we know now it's not possible. They won't pay. They can't even afford to pay $1 million. Our governors can afford, but they will not pay. So if you want to compel them to pay, start from somewhere that is reasonable, that is payable, and that is realistic. So when they say we pay, you know they will pay. You want them to promise you when you know they cannot afford. We know what's going on. They can afford to pay $1 million naira to each Nigerian worker. But can they pay?
It's like the dictum says, ask more to get little.
Start from there. Be realistic yourself. This issue is that they have the money. We know what they take as security votes. I was reading today where Anambra State government is saying, and they are trying to stop the trial, the former governor's trial in court, bordering on security votes. I mean, a governor sits on security votes, dispenses the way he wants, and nobody challenges him. And you're owing workers. So I actually sympathize with them. But I'm being realistic here. We know
sympathize with who?
With Nigerian workers.
Okay.
They demand. We know now. The pay can't take them home anymore. Okay. Every morning you go to work and you're coming back sad every day, and the government is not doing. So when you want to now negotiate with government, be realistic. That is what I'm saying. If I'm NLC, I will not quote 1 million because I know it's not. If you're the governor, you tell me we'll pay. Are you not going to lie? This is the same. It's not possible.
The discordant notes between the NLC and the TUC should trouble you.
Yeah, I am increasingly worried that Osifo and Ajaero are never on the same page on anything, even when they want to call strike. Why? I mean, I think they should learn a lesson from, they should forget all whatever biases they have against Oshiomhole, because whatever it is, whatever grudge you have against Oshiomhole, you know that when he was NLC president, I think it was during his time to break NLC, that was when government came with the idea of TUC.
You remember the incident
at the end of the day
at an hotel in Abuja?
Yes.
When former President Obasanjo walked out and Oshiomhole, then NLC president, said, Mr. President, I'm also a president. Come back, let's sit down and talk these things out.
So they need to, maybe the two of them or the leadership of the two unions, they need to go and meet Oshiomhole and take some wisdom. Oshiomhole might be partisan because his party is in power, but at least they will be able to learn some spirit of cooperation between the two of them.
Essentially, we are asking that between the federal government and organized labor, there should be a middle course.
Yes, of course, there should be, because when you are asking for something, you must ask realistically, so that they will not take you for granted. Yeah. I mean, if you ask for 1 million, everybody will just laugh. Even the worker you are fighting for, they are allowing them to scorn that 1 million can be very.
What will be the wage bill? What will be the wage bill of the state?
All right, to our last story.
They won't pay.
Yeah, to our last story. This is serious. Coup-mongering comes when the interests of desperate politicians are violated or breached. In Nigeria, it's a favorite pastime. The Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, has called on the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, to go after those calling for military takeover of power in the country. This directive is contained in a signed statement by the image maker of the Defense Ministry, Henshaw Ogubike. The call for a violent change of government by the military is not just absurd. The fact is, we've been there before, Tony.
Oh, sure. We don't want authoritarianism anymore. We don't suppressing civil liberties.
But even the soldiers are not ready. That's what they're telling us.
They are not ready. And you can't compare the two. At least I was, I won't say that I was that matured during the military, but I can tell you.
You were old enough to
I was very old enough to take one and two. Military regime is not the best because they are going to take Nigerian back. I understand the angers of some Nigerians, but then proposing, in fact, I don't want to even mention it because we've gone far beyond that, to take the country back. Because what do I want? A situation, I call them, gangsters, take over the treasure of a nation, and nobody is telling them how to go about it.
Suspend the constitution.
Everything will be suspended.
And
some people are going to be arrested.
Everything by fiat.
Of course, they rule by decrees. I mean, we've made progress. We may not have gotten it right or gotten to that destination, but it's a journey.
Tony, but the politicians are not allowed to sleep.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting. But that does not mean that the politicians, the political ruling class, should not do what they ought to do. Don't take the citizens for granted. Don't use your hand to spoil the democratic process. When we say we're under democracy, let all the arms of democracy work, all the arms of democratic process. Let it function, the judiciary and everything. Do not, because people are watching. When you say, initially to say this is civil rule, because all the tenets of democracy, I'm not saying being activated. So if we don't want civil unrest, that usually leads to military coup. Please lead the people
and
listen to them. There must be communication.
A former American president told us told us they need to make institutions stronger
They need to, yeah.
than individuals.
That is what we want, because a situation where individuals control the institution, you don't need any, once the institutions are strong, you don't need any other thing. It will work automatically. You don't need any, but a situation where people controls it. See, when we sit down here, we may not be active in, politically,
Yeah.
but we'll watch. And once you make, because this is this Gen Z generation.
Yeah.
They watch a lot. The way we reason is not the way they reason. And a lot of things are working now. This is the internet age. We have our phones in our hand. We can communicate. Anything that's happening right now, we have it on our fingertips.
It's an e-world.
So you cannot maneuver the system. You cannot tell them that it's A instead of B. The truth, there must be communication.
Because they are seeing it.
There must be communication all the time. When you are the leader, they are watching you.
Yeah.
Do the right thing. And then this issue of, I don't want to mention it, but
Okay.
we don't need it at this point.
We'll
get it right.
But the minister prompting the DIA, don't you think is more than a mouthful?
Well, you see, let me start by the Yoruba will say that Omade Omogun, Onpelefo, a child that does not, he sees herb and is calling it vegetable.
I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to remind me of Omade Omela.
No, menda, kata. Now,
Yeah.
for those who are saying, who are calling for military coup, they don't know what they are talking about. Some of us suffered under the military, and we now wear all those indignities as epaulets on our chest.
Yeah.
If people were to wear it, Citizen Jones, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Was it Chief Obafemi Awolowo or who that said that the worst civilian government is better than the best military government? Because, look, in all honesty, and I've said it before on this program, if the military had not intervened in 1983 and they had allowed the late Aliu Shagari to finish his fourth term, the second term.
So you mean 1983?
1983, yes. Yeah. If the military had not intervened to short-circuit Shagari's second coming, by now we'll have learned our lessons. And we have, even from 1999...
There are cynics who would insist that is debatable.
No, well, of course, anything in the world is debatable. Because the truth of the matter is that, are you going to say that because a child, you have a 1-year-old child, is learning how to walk, and he has been falling and he is falling, are you going to tie such a child to a chair and say that until you know how to walk before I allow you to walk? No! And that is what the military has done to our democracy. Allow the mistakes to be made. They will learn from it. The electorate, we are learning from the process.
But Yinka, please, don't get offended.
No, I'm not.
Politics in Nigeria is, interestingly, not between right and left. No, it's not between right and wrong. Okay. We are talking about right and left.
Yes.
Our politicians are the bane of democracy in this country.
Yes, but we are not going to substitute them for military autocracy. Because in military autocracy, the media is muzzled, individuals are muzzled, and all that. So we have a system that will correct itself. It might take time. I think sometimes we are always too much in a hurry. That we want things to be a president, a civilian, an elected president is not.
Would you say
Nigerians are not?
Would you say Nigerians are an impatient people?
We are impatient in everything, and that is the reason why we are in traffic. You can see ahead of you that there's problem, the bottleneck there. You pull out from your lane and go and add to the problem. That's part of the impatience. And also, a military head of state or a military president or whatever you call it is not the same thing as a civilian president.
Okay.
There are processes that must be observed before things are done.
Mm-hmm.
This is not an excuse for the present system we are running.
Do you mind?
What I'm saying,
Yeah.
Citizen Jones, I'm sorry. What I'm trying to bring out here is that for those who have witnessed military regimes in this country, especially the last two before 1999, they will know that when we talk of democracy, we should have it the way what we have now may not be perfect.
Yeah.
And there's no any perfect system. Even the American presidency or the American democracy is never perfect because you still see Americans who criticize their own system.
All right.
We should learn.
Yinka, let me paint this scenario
Okay.
for Tony. Maybe Tony would understand where I'm coming from. Tony, as we sit here, you and I and our dear friend and colleague know that in Edo State, the primaries of the APC has come and gone, and a candidate is waiting for the election day.
Yeah.
But a member of the National Assembly, another politician, is going to court to ask INEC to declare him.
You recognize him.
This is not going to be healthy for this system.
No, that's part
So
of
that's the thing.
democracy.
You see,
What democracy?
in as much as Nigerians don't want coup, so let's just put that aside. But our political class needs to sit up. Because what most times, I was in my 20s when at least I witnessed this military and all that. Reasons they give most times for coming, the politicians provide it. The country is going through difficult times. They're not looking, they're not interested. They're buying cars, they're doing this, they're spending lavishly. So to the rest, you can go to hell if you like complain. That's why I emphasize on communication. If there are issues at all, we don't have the resources, always let the people know. Because these are things that agitate their mind and start thinking of escape routes where we can get it, it should circuit it. Once we do the right thing as politicians, all these things, nobody even reason it. As a political leader, you can rule well without people agitating. All those socio-economic factors that occasionally the nation faces, how do these politicians address them? Many times people say, cut the cost off.
Time is up, yes, sir.
So people say, cut the cost of governance. We know the issues.
30 seconds, how do you
We know the issues.
Well, in concluding, what I would just say is that we need to be patient. The politicians also need to learn their lessons,
accelerate,
and then accelerate the level of development. Some of the things they do don't convince us that they know that there is problem in the polity.
Or they even listen.
Therefore, they need to gauge the populace and also the military. Of course, I'm sure they already know that the country is not ripe.
Yinka, I must stop you here. I must stop you here. But not before thanking you, Dr. Yinka Oyegbile. Many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Tony Waje,
Thank you
for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, the show runs to a close now. We thank you for your time. Remember that on Sunday, we expand the field for you from 1:30 to 3:30. And of course, also, let's add that we're on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Usain. Bye-bye now. Take care.